I keep my goals to myself, cause whenever I share with folks, they get a look upon their face and their memory floats to a time where their goals and the stars.
The Elimination Chamber is over and done with. It's officially in the books. Elimination Chamber was not a good show. It just was not. I did like what they did in the main event. That was good. Randy Orton winning was the right decision, basically, for the most part, but it just leads to a fatal four-way, and we'll talk about that. Rhea Ripley winning the women's Elimination Chamber, that makes sense too, which is fine. So we know Rhea will be champion at the end of WrestleMania 42. She will be the new Women's World Champion, which is fine because Rhea is massively over and she hasn't had a singles title in quite some time. I think a good maybe 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. So I want to say since 2024. Actually, no, I want to say since 2023. So it's been about a good 2.5, almost 3 years. She's held singles gold. I'm not counting the tag team titles with EO, which they just lost to Nia Jax and Lash Legend on SmackDown. So there is that. Then we're going to talk about the awful debut of Danhausen. Yes, spoiler alert, Danhausen was the mystery man in the crate. Seth Rollins also returned in the main event. That was good. That's interesting there. So we'll talk about that as well. So let's talk about Danhausen, shall we? So I want to start things off with Danhausen, and then from there we will get into the remainder of the show. So this was before the main event. So Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce, they opened the crate, and it was a vampire-shaped coffin, and a bunch of women vampire dancers came out, started dancing around and everything else, and then eventually Danhausen was the guy. He was revealed to be the guy, which was absolutely pathetic. Chicago booed the hell out of Danhausen, which was great. So it just doesn't make any sense. Danhausen, he goes around ringside. He gives Michael Cole a jar of teeth. And he gets into the ring. And then the vampire girls, they continue to dance. Then a fireball goes off. And that was the end of that segment. So the crowd is audibly booing. They're chanting bullshit. Some of them are saying, fuck this. One guy said this was the worst debut ever, which was hilarious. Again, I agree 10,000%. Why would you debut Danhausen? Danhausen, at best, is a comedy act that would probably get over on NXT and in AAA. Why? Because he's another Mr. Iguana. That is why he would get over in AAA, because of his gimmick. And he would do well in NXT, because NXT, you can get away with so much in NXT. It's a developmental. So that is why. But the crowd shitting all over this was chef's kiss. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. This was a waste of fucking time. Danhausen didn't need to be in this spot. I get it. He's friends with CM Punk. Who really cares? But Danhausen did not need to be in this position whatsoever. You could have done this on a episode of NXT, or you could have done this on an episode of AAA, right? Over on WWE's YouTube channel, right? You could have done it there. Either way, you would have gotten a better reaction, right? But it is what it is. Nothing can be done about it at this point in time. It sucks. It never really should have occurred. And Danhausen didn't need to be in this position because, again, Danhausen is just a total gimmick. He's a gimmick and nothing more. He's a gimmick. He can't go in ring, right? And he was funny and stuff back in Ring of Honor and all that jazz. But it is what it is. I mean, Triple H is just caving into CM Punk and Cody Rhodes and just bringing in all their friends. So, you know, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Moving on, we start at the beginning of the show, which was the women's Elimination Chamber. That was the first match of the night. Rhea Ripley, she defeated Asuka, Alexa Bliss, Tiffany Stratton, and Kiana James. And Asuka. She is now the new #1 contender for Jade Cargill's Women's World title, which is fine. That makes sense. I should have known going into it that Rhea was going to basically win, since her and Io lost the women's tag titles 24 hours prior. But it is what it is. I was thinking that, you know, it was either going to be Tiffany Stratton getting the W or Rhea Ripley getting the W. I was right with Rhea getting it, and I would have also been right if Tiffany would have won. But those were your only two choices. Rhea wins. That makes perfect sense. So I'm fine with this. Clearly, she's going to be the one to dethrone Jade. Triple H and company doesn't give a damn about Jade. They've done nothing with her. She's just been doing a bunch of backstage stuff. She barely cuts in any in-ring promos, and if they do, and if she does, it's extremely short. No more than about a minute to, at best, a minute and 30 seconds. So 90 seconds, basically. And that's all Jade Cargill has really done since she's been champion. What do you do with Asuka? She's probably going to feud with Kairi Sane. Hopefully they visit that at some point. They go back to Kairi basically costing Asuka the Rumble and eliminating her from the match. So we should get that. But that doesn't feel like a WrestleMania-worthy match. I mean, it feels like a decent Raw match that you would just put at the start of the show or main event. But, you know, that's fine. Tiffany Stratton, it seems like she's going to be in a little mini feud with Chelsea Green. Raquel Rodriguez is going to be doing some Judgment Day stuff. I feel like that faction's coming to an end. And I'm pretty sure they're probably going to end Judgment Day once Liv wins the title from Stephanie Baker come WrestleMania 42. So look out for that. I could see, you know, maybe Liv kind of bullying Raquel, turning her babyface. Alexa Bliss, I don't know what you do with her going forward. I really don't know. I'm guessing you could have her and Charlotte go after Lash Legend and Nia Jax go after the tag team titles, basically. So, yeah. The match itself was okay for the most part. So, it is what it is. Nothing special. Just a couple high spots here and there. Alexa Bliss ended up doing her Twisted Bliss off the pod, which was pretty cool there. Like I said before, Rhea Ripley winning was basically the right decision, and Jade Cargill's days as champion are numbered. What do you do with Jade Cargill when she loses? I would hope they could begin to build the baddies. Maybe you add Kiana James with B-Fab and Jade Cargill, because we know eventually, at some point, with Triple H's boring, long-ass booking, we know that B-Fab is going to turn on Mia Yim at some point. So, there's that. And do you really need Kiana James to be with Julia? Not necessarily. You could have Kyrie, my bad. You could have Asuka kind of turn on Kyrie, basically. Maybe Asuka snaps and beats up Kyrie, and Kyrie's her replacement would be Julia. So you have Asuka basically being the the mentor of Julia for a little while. I think that would be cool. I think that would be the best way to go about it, for being honest. So there is that. All right, moving on from that, this leads us into AJ Lee defeating Becky Lynch to become the new Women's Intercontinental Champion. The match itself was fine for the most part. Becky got her stuff in. AJ Lee got her stuff in. Becky basically worked most of this match. She basically dominated most of this match, basically. So there were some good near falls in this match as well. And it's kind of weird that they had Becky tap to the Black Widow, but it does make sense at the same time. So Becky lost via submission. She tapped. I thought she was going to pass out, but she ended up tapping, which to me is fine. AJ Lee winning was the right decision. Clearly, they're going to do another match, so basically a rematch at WrestleMania. It's going to be a stipulation match, probably either like a steel cage or an I Quit or a last woman standing match or something of that sort, maybe even a falls count anywhere. They're going to do something of that nature, which to me is fine. So AJ Lee winning, to me, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But what do you do with Becky now that she has lost? Again, she's going to get her rematch, but she'll lose at Mania. But what do you do with Becky after Mania? What do you do? Because clearly they're going to have AJ Lee face the people that she mentioned in her promo a couple weeks back on Raw, where she mentioned she wanted to face, Charlotte and Alexa Bliss and, the semi-top women of the company now. And you can't do that with Becky as champ at all. Well, you can't do that if Becky ends up winning it back at Mania, which she won't. So, there's that. That's fine, I guess. Well, who really gives a damn, really, if we're being honest? Moving on from that, this leads us into CM Punk defeating Finn Balor. He retains the World Heavyweight Championship. So Finn Balor is still using his old theme, which is great. This match itself was pretty decent. Thankfully, CM Punk did not get injured. Thankfully, I'm glad. Praise God for that. The finish came when CM Punk hit the GTS. I'm surprised that the Judgment Day didn't get involved in this. I had predicted that they were going to get involved in this. It did not happen. So that's fine. I'm guessing they're going to do the turn. It should be on Raw. Is where they maybe, call out Finn Balor. And then that's when you see Dom and JD McDonough basically attacked Finn Balor, beating him up, which sets up Dominic Mysterio versus Finn Balor for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania 42. So that's where that's going. That's fine there. We all knew CM Punk wasn't going to lose. And him and Roman are going to have a promo battle on Monday. So that's going to be great. So Raw should be kind of must-see with Roman back. And I think Roman's going to be back all of March. So that's great. So you got basically 7 weeks to build to this match. This is their biggest match that they can do right now. So, there is that. Moving on, this leads us into the attendance, which ended up being 19,300 and hold on. 19,346 were there. So that's fine. It is what it is. Main event of the evening. Randy Orton wins the men's Elimination Chamber. He defeats Trick Williams, LA Knight, Logan Paul, and Javon Evans, and Cody Rhodes. So basically, Logan Paul, he got 3 eliminations in this match. He eliminated Trick Williams, Javon Evans, and LA Knight, which is fine. LA Knight botched his elbow. I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm guessing he doesn't have it anymore. But, I mean, it happens. So, again, he's getting older. So, Unk's getting pretty old, So, basically, Logan Paul was taking control in the match. Then, the Masked Man, he gets into the ring. Well, tries to. He's stopped by Adam Pearce and officials and security. They unmask him. So he's one of Seth Rollins' students. On SmackDown, another one of Seth Rollins' students got involved. He was revealed as the Masked Man on Friday. And his name was Dan Fury or Furio. So that was his name. So that's fine. So you knew Seth Rollins was going to get involved. He ended up getting involved in it, and he ended up, revealing himself to be the Masked Man. He ended up doing a super kick into the stomp. He got a pretty good reaction doing that. Paul Heyman was shook as hell, so good stuff there. Paul Heyman did really good character work right there. And then this allowed for Cody to pin Logan Paul, so Logan Paul's out. So this sets up Logan Paul and Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, but it's probably going to end up being a tag team match, probably Seth Rollins and maybe Bad Bunny versus Logan Paul and Austin Theory, if Bad Bunny's schedule can permit. If not, it'll probably end up being Seth Rollins and LA Knight versus Logan Paul and Austin Theory. So that's fine. I do like that. So the final 2, it came down to Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. Drew McIntyre came down. He ended up getting involved because the cage door was left wide open. So he ended up attacking Cody with the belt. Cody and Drew, they fought, and then Drew got taken out by security. They ended up getting him out of the chamber. Randy hit the RKO, 1, 2, 3, and Randy Orton is going to WrestleMania 42. This is fine because we know this is going to set up for a Fatal 4-Way at Mania 42, right? And Nick Aldis, he ended up making Cody and Drew 4 on Friday on SmackDown. So we know that Jacob Fatu is going to get involved in that for sure. So we all know this is all leading to a Fatal 4-Way. Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, Jacob Fatu, and Cody Rhodes. And it should ultimately lead to Randy Orton being the one who wins. And then from there, you can end up doing Cody and Randy. And I think you want to start that at SummerSlam. So you have Cody and Randy. Randy beats Cody. He pins Cody. He turns on Cody that night, or the SmackDown after Mania. I would do the SmackDown after Mania. You have Orton turn full-fledged heel. He beats up Cody. He RKOs him a couple times. He beats him up with the steel chair, and then he punts Cody. And Cody stretches it out. We don't see Cody for at least a good month and a half. Then he comes back, and you continue to build off their story, their history that they've had, and then you do Cody and Randy at SummerSlam. And I think that's where they're going with all of this. I think. So there's that. I don't know what they're going to do with Randy and Aleister Black. It doesn't really matter. Basically, Aleister Black and Zelina Vega, they serve as the Karrion Kross and Scarlett in this situation. But Scarlett and Karrion are no longer there, so it is what it is. It happens. But that's their role in this. But I do see them doing a Fatal 4-Way, because clearly we know Jacob Fatu is going to get involved for sure. That's a given, right? And so for Mania, you got CM Punk and Roman Reigns. You got Rhea and Jade Cargill. You got the Fatal 4-Way with Randy, Drew, Cody, and Jacob. So you got that. You got Liv and Raquel Liv Morgan and Stephanie Vacker. And you also got, more than likely, Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio. So you got some stuff to look forward to. You got time to build it. But man, this road to WrestleMania has been a fucking disaster. Since the Royal Rumble, it's just been a disaster. It's just been all downhill. Triple H has no idea what he's doing. He's just pivoting. Oh, I forgot to mention, we probably are going to have that tag team match. Either Seth Rollins and LA Knight versus Division, Logan Paul and Austin Theory, or it's going to be Seth Rollins and Bad Bunny versus Division, Austin Theory and Logan Paul. So you got that on the card as well. So I don't know, man. But Danhausen debuting was utter shit. Randy winning, that makes sense. AJ Lee winning makes sense. Same thing with Rhea Ripley and CM Punk retaining. That all makes sense. So I mean, it was a shit show, but what can you say? That's what WWE's been doing for the past few years, is just putting out shit for a while, and it's not good. But it is what it is. But let me know what you guys thought.